Good afternoon, everybody. Like you said, my name is Hoveln. I work for Hoveln Heating and Cooling. I am a third generation of Hoveln Heating and Cooling, and this is actually our 40th year in business. So today I want to just kind of give you guys a little information, talk about home automation, but more importantly, I want to talk about indoor air quality, because those are two of the biggest topics in HVAC right now, and they really can affect your health and the longevity and the happiness of your home. So, home comfort. A lot of people think of it in different ways, but what is it? Temperature control, obviously. Humidity control, yep. Indoor air quality, as well as how easy is it to use your system. Do you have to get up and change it every time you're comfortable? Does it automatically sense that? There's a lot of different ways that we can adjust that and make new systems that are a lot more effective and efficient for the homeowner. Indoor air quality, IAQ. It's one of those buzzwords in the industry right now. Everybody's worried about how is their air, how healthy is their air. The average building is not very healthy. On average, between 5 times more VOCs or volatile organic compounds are found inside a structure as opposed to outside air. That means when we spend 90% of our time indoors, our air is 5 times more polluted inside than it is outside. And in some instances, that can be even more, closer to 100 times in very, very bad doses. So, what can bad IAQ lead to? Indoor air quality. You've got humidity. Too much humidity sometimes makes it hard to breathe, makes wood dry, or makes wood swell, and in the wintertime makes wood shrink back up. You get mold. Nobody wants mold, high humidity. How can we get rid of that? You've got bacteria. Bacteria in the house, you've got a sick kid, somebody that's sick. How do we try and combat that and make sure that it is killed in the house and that it doesn't spread into your breathing air? So, what can be done? Well, there's a lot of different ways that we can try and combat indoor air quality, and I'm just going to go ahead and run you through a few of them, a few different methods for doing it, as well as some different things to kind of approach different problems within indoor air quality issues. So filters, very, very simple. Every system should have a filter, but not all filters are made the same. There's actually a rating for filters that is called a MERV rating. It goes 1 through 16. Number 1 being the least filtering, number 16 being the most filtering. 16 is typically going to be considered your best filter. Now, most filters that come with a home are going to be somewhere in the range of 3 to 8. That's going to be your pretty standard filter. At the Home Depot or some other store, you can purchase higher MERV rated filters. However, that's not always best for your system. It might sound better, you might have better filtering, but it could negatively impact the equipment that you're using in your system. If you continually try and feed air through a dirty filter or one that doesn't allow air, you're actually stressing your units out to the point that they're going to fail prematurely in most cases. So it's not always the best bet to go ahead and try and buy those high MERV rated filters. But there are solutions. One option we have from the Bryant family of equipment is the GAP air filter. That's a MERV 15 filter, so it's almost at the very top of the scale, but it's designed for your system, and it uses several different methods to try and capture and kill bacteria and to capture dirt and mold that can be in your air. So, we talked about filters. Filters are important. You should change them depending on how big they are, every 3 months, every 6 months for 4-inch filters, and then in rare instances, there's a couple filters that can be changed every year. I wouldn't necessarily suggest that. So we've covered filters. What are they? Yes, they're great. Make sure you use them, but don't overdo it, and make sure your system is prepared to handle a higher rated filter. So we filtered the air. Great. Now what do? How do we clean it? How do we condition it? We've tried to take the particles out, but like I said before, most home filters are going to be between a 4 and an 8 MERV rating, which means it's not going to catch the smallest particles. It's not going to catch all of the mold spores. It's not going to catch the bacteria, the viruses, and it's not going to catch fine dust particles. So what are the next steps? Up here we've got a few different methods for trying to combat some of that stuff. A UV lamp. Just like the rays of the sun, UV works and kills bacteria and it kills mold at the source. In most instances, these UV lamps are going to be put directly above your cooling coil or in your ductwork. That way the UV lights can shine down onto the bacteria and onto the mold spores, and what it does is it breaks down their cell wall and kills them. So that's one method to get rid of mildew, mold, musty smells, and it helps clean up that coil and give you better efficiency not only in your coil, but extended life out of your coil as well. Second option, it's a new one that's come out recently. It's considered bipolar ionization. What it does is it creates negative and positive ions that flow with the airstream, and they attach themselves to particles. When these particles become attached to each other, they drop. So, initially, it would create what would appear to be more dust. But really, what it's doing is taking the particles out of the air and making them heavy enough so that they don't continue to circulate with the air. In addition to that, it also makes these particles bigger so that they can be caught easier by lower rated filters. That's one of those new up-and-coming things. It's a little bit different, but it's a different mentality and they're effective in different ways. Fresh air exchange. It's not just cleaning the air, but how do we freshen the air? Fresh air exchange is important. If your home is newer, in most instances you're going to have higher efficiency windows, higher efficiency doors, and you're not going to have very much air leakage, which seems great. Air leakage, we don't want that, because you have to then condition that air again. However, when you seal a house up that tight, you're also sealing in all the bad things you don't want. So, in comes the ERV, or the Energy Recovery Ventilator. What this does is it takes air from inside your house a little bit at each time while you're running your equipment, and it exchanges it with outside air, filtering it and then taking the heat or coolness from the inside air and exchanging it with the incoming outside air to add back into your vent system. So you constantly have fresh air as well as not paying to overcome the temperature difference coming from the outside air. So that's a great option, and it helps to exchange some of those negative particles that you don't want in your house if you haven't caught them with these other methods already. Third option is humidification. Humidifiers have been around forever. Everybody knows about them. But they are also still important. If you're not able to keep a space occupied or a space constantly conditioned with moving airflow, humidity could become a problem. Or if you're in the winter months and you're starting to see your skin cracking, your hair's drying out, wood's starting to dry out, you're going to want to go ahead and move into the humidifiers, because those can keep, especially older antiques in particular, from drying out. And that's really going to extend the life of those as well as make your environment more comfortable. The typical range for humid comfort is between 40 and 65% humidity, and if you can keep that range, you're going to be a lot more comfortable in your house. So we've talked about a couple different methods now, and I've got a few examples of some of these methods here. Right here, it's one of those, it's considered a global plasma solution, and this is that bipolar ionization I was talking about. It's a very simple box, it's easily wired into your unit, and once these particles start to enter the airstream, they begin to attach to dirt particles to make them easier to capture or clean up on surfaces. It doesn't release ozone, it's not producing some chemical to put in your house. The bipolar ionization is very natural. The negative and positive ions are created in nature. Something as simple as a waterfall, the movement of the waves, those actions release these ions that are then being replicated through this. So it's essentially bringing fresh outside particles indoors. Another option here that I mentioned before is the UV light. Now, something about this particular UV light is pretty nice. Not only does it shine the UV light on the coil or whatever you're trying to clean, but it also has a carbon filter built into it. So you filtered your air, it's coming through your system, you're shining it with your UV light, it's got another filter that it has to get to, a carbon filter, to catch a lot more of those fine particles. Because it's a lot harder for the particles to make it through those carbon filters with all the recesses and gaps that it has than it is to make it through a standard filter. So this is an example, also easily installed. If you look here, if you can see it, you can come up and look at these later if you'd like. They install right above the heating and cooling coil in your unit, and they shine down on there to keep your heating and cooling coil clean. Like I said before, the benefits of a clean coil: better efficiency, longer life. Pretty self-explanatory. So, IAQ, we talked about that. The next big buzzword is the connected home, home automation. And so, at Hoveln, we're starting to broach into that topic a little bit more. Bryant, that we sell, has come out with a new home automation system that works well with its new high-end equipment. So it's the Bryant Evolution system. And that is the highest tier, highest efficiency equipment that Bryant offers. And this home automation system now can pair with that. So it can be something as simple as a few motion sensors, a few door sensors, or it can be as complex as water sensors, cameras, motion sensors with cameras. It's basically one of those, you decide how you want to set up the security of your home, how you want to run your home, and it'll do it for you. It's all app-based, so you can control anything anywhere from your app, and it comes in a starter kit, and you can build from there. It also has the benefit of not being a constant monitored security system unless you want it. It's personal monitored unless you want to pay a subscription fee, in which case it can be professionally monitored, like most security systems currently. But the great part about it is that it already works with our high-end equipment. So if you have Bryant, or even carry your equipment in your home, this will work with your high-end communicating stuff. Stats like the Nest system will not, but this will. And it'll actually do a lot more than the Nest. As well as the COR, you also see up here, it's a little hard to see, but we have a Honeywell leak detector. Just a simple little leak detector that creates a circuit when it touches water, but it'll alert you on your phone if there's a water leak. So you leave home, your water heater busts, but you have this sitting right by your water heater, it'll send you a message, an alert on your phone, letting you know that, hey, something's not right, and that you can either take care of it yourself or have somebody else take care of it for you. And that's just a great little option. Super inexpensive, but it's also one of those peace of mind things. You know that if something happens, you're going to be notified the instant that it happens. Now, as I mentioned before, the COR is something we're really excited to start bringing into Hoveln's business. And it's something that's really new and up and coming. And we're really excited about it. And there's endless possibilities to it. Just on this alone, you can see that you have motion sensors, you have carbon monoxide detectors, glass break sensors, automated door locks, water sensors, cameras, both indoor and outdoor. And these can all work back into what is the COR hub. And this is your central home for all of your COR items. And it's also Z-Wave compatible for those that are familiar with home automation at all. So there's many, many devices that are compatible with Z-Wave that can then be controlled with this system. Something to also mention, for those that have the Amazon Alexa, the docks and whatnot, those are also now compatible with this system and the Bryant Evolutions. So you can control your Evolution system through your home smart bot if you have the Amazon Alexas. I appreciate your time. Just wanted to give you a little bit more insight into the role of IAQ as well as home automation. And if you have any questions, we're at the south end of the building here. We look forward to talking to you. Once again, this is Trent Hoveln, Hoveln Heating and Cooling. Appreciate your time. Thank you.